Good evening. Tonight is February 26, 2025. This is the Ashland School Committee meeting. We start each meeting by reading our mission statement, which is the Ashland Public Schools strives to be a model district that creates a culture of inclusivity for our diverse students and staff who feel safe and supported, are empowered with the academic and social emotional skills to pursue their chosen path, and embrace their roles as positive contributors to the local and global communities. This meeting is being recorded by WACA Cable TV. Our initial opening procedures are to review the agenda. We will have a moment for public comment if there is any, and reports and presentations. We look forward to a presentation from Mendez, a community learning presentation. We'll have warrant approvals, superintendent's report, and assistant superintendent's report. Action items and discussion updates and votes. We will be taking a vote on a new contract for Superintendent Jim Adams. We have a discussion on budget update for the fiscal 2025 year this year and adjustments. We also have a potential calendar update for next year, which is a proposal to move a scheduled early release day from May 15th to May 8th. And our consent agenda, which covers the approval of gifts and donations, grant approvals, and the minutes from February 12th. Then we will have updates from the members and a motion to adjourn. Is everybody comfortable with the agenda as presented?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I know that Lori is, I think, zooming in as we speak. So let's start the meeting with any public comment. If anybody would like to address the school committee, please come up to the podium. Seeing none, and seeing none on Zoom, we can move right to our reports and presentations. Jenna? Get your friends. You could start by introducing yourselves and maybe your friends who are with you.
Yes. Do you want to come up, Mrs. Glenn? Miss Amita, please. I'd also just like to thank the families so much for coming here tonight and helping us to have your kids present today. They have done a wonderful job this week preparing to go. So they have it all ready to go and they're going to start.
Can you move that back down for me?
Let me pull up the slideshow.
It bends down a lot.
Hold on one second. While we're doing all that, I also just want to mention that Mrs. Glenn and Miss Sumita have been an amazing team in contributing to help bring this together. Miss Glenn for planning the project for the whole school, and Miss Sumita for her willingness to have some of her students come and present tonight. So, and thank you both for being here tonight.
Jenna, if you could have your friends introduce themselves, at least their first name, just tell us who they are.
Good evening. My name is Danush. We are in Miss Amita's third grade class at the Mendez School.
Hello, my name is Janani.
Hello, my name is Emmett.
Hello, my name is Aubrey. Thank you for having us here tonight. We are excited to talk about community learning. During community learning, we switch classes and have a new teacher with other 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. The community learning groups meet once per month. We have community learning so we have a chance to meet new people and make new friends. It is nice to know more than one teacher each year. We are third graders, so we have only had a few times at community learning. At the February meeting, we had drop everything and play. I played Jenga with friends, and it was very fun. I know that last year the school did many different activities, including drop everything and walk.
We are here tonight to talk to you about the feather activity we did in December. Each classroom shared a video of the book Wings. The main idea of the book was being unique is good and people need to be true to themselves. After we reread the book, each person created their own feather to show how they were unique.
Once we all completed our feathers, Mrs. Glenn put them all together to make a pair of wings. The wings were then hung outside of the art rooms so that kids can stand in front of them and look like like an eagle soaring. Mrs. Bro, our computer teacher, put together a video. Thank you so much for having us. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Thank you all for coming in and sharing that with us. Does anybody have any questions for the kids?
I have a question. What is your favorite part about being with the other grades? It's a hard one.
My favorite part of being with the other grades is seeing how like they react and seeing how like they could tell you things that you don't know and then you could be ready for that grade.
That's great.
How many feathers were there?
I think everyone in the school or everyone in third grade made one.
We're probably about 600.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. All in a box, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna make something out of this now. Now it's my turn.
Did I notice that you guys have your feathers with you? Do you want to tell us what's on them? Or just hold them up and show us? They look really cool.
Wow, really nice.
That's great.
So I did color copy their feathers, and they are on the actual installation, and they have these they can keep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Great.
I'd say since the installation, we had another one come up where we've got the word kind and the kids can stand and they can be the I in kind.
Oh,
I feel like we're on a photo opportunity
Mm-hmm.
wall plan.
Yeah.
So lots of exciting things.
I have one question about community learning, just to make sure I understand. Are you with a different teacher each time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to meet a different teacher every single month?
No. Not every month. We stay with the same teacher. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Until fifth grade once we leave.
so you get to create a relationship with a new teacher throughout the whole year?
Yeah.
Awesome.
that's great.
Every adult in the building is there for community learning, so everybody works with the classroom. That's how we get it.
That's great.
They actually move around the building with great success. I was nervous about that, what it would be like when all of a sudden all 660 kids moved, but they do it.
So do you move to a different classroom when you do community learning?
Yes.
And are you with since you guys are all in third grade, are you with your same classmates from your third grade class or with other third graders and fourth graders?
Different groups.
There's like groups.
So we have kids in our class and also build relationships with other kids,
That's great. So you get to meet a lot of new friends too.
other grades and
That's wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
What are you going to pass on to the incoming third graders? Because you're almost fourth graders. That's awesome.
Hand them
Great.
off after. Do any of you all want to add to that? What you might pass on? It's okay to say no.
No.
Give it a chance.
You guys did a great job.
Yeah, thank you for coming
Thank you
in.
for coming.
I know you have the earliest time to go to school, so you're free to leave. Stay and watch us. Nice job.
Thank you all.
All right, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, I know. Gets older, it's better. Thank you.
Oh, we'll give it a minute to simmer down.
Ms. Tosti, can you hear us okay?
Yes, thank you. I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me though. I'm around a little bit of noise.
It's all right. It
You have
won't
no
be.
idea.
Yeah, it won't be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, as you should be. They were wonderful.
What we used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, warrant approvals. Paul?
All right, I do have it up this time. Between February 13th, 2025 and February 26th, 2025, I, Paul Kendall, authorized by my signature payables in the amount of $511,904. This includes general fund expenses of $363,369.27. Revolving expenses of $133,384.03. And grant expenses of $15,073.16, and meals tax expenses of $77.54.
Thank you, Paul. Jim, you have superintendent's report.
Yeah, just a couple quick things. One, I want to publicly thank, for those who don't know, Esmer Cassis, our Director of Communications, is taking a job with the Marlboro Public Schools as their Director of Communications. And I just want to publicly, her last day is Friday. I just want to publicly thank her for the work that she's done. We've moved quite a bit forward with our goals of communication and consistency within the buildings in terms of our weekly newsletters, the work with the logo, the platform of s'mores, but also then she redid our website and she's continually updating that. We do have a new one coming on board in July, so that's pretty well done. We'll have some cleanup work to do and some training for our admin team, so we can actually individually post from each building, which is what our goal will be. So that's exciting. But again, I just want to say thank you to her. And lastly, well, two things. One, we have a tri-board meeting this weekend with the FinCom and Select Board. I met with Michael Herbert yesterday for a good length of time just to talk about, where we are with the budget process. And, we feel that, as a town and, general government and schools, that there's a lot of work still to do with the budget. But there's still some optimism, and that was curbed a little bit today when I just got back actually from spending the afternoon with Senator Spilka in Boston. About 6 superintendents. We went in, met with her. We do this on a yearly basis, right around this time to check in as the new legislative process is beginning. Generally the governor's first iteration of the budget is out, and going from there. And what I can tell you I took away is that it's going to be a tough year financially at the state level, and that when we're talking about competency determination and MCAS, that was a question I had asked, is there going to be some sort of process so there's consistency across the state? Right now, there isn't anything that is going to be implemented currently. There will be some public hearings on some proposals that DESE's making, but DESE's going through a shakeup as well. The interim commissioner has resigned and will be done in a couple weeks. They'll hire an interim commissioner, and then eventually a full-time commissioner starting end of March will be the appointment. And so there's a lot in flux, if you will, but other than that, that's all I have for my report.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Jim? All right, we'll move along to Mike.
Just a couple of quick things that we had a vacation last week, so there's not a whole lot to add in terms of from the curriculum lens, but a few just congratulations. Over the weekend, I was able to attend the Division III state champion wrestling event, and I want to send congratulations to sophomore Logan Costello, who is named state champion, as well as senior Adrian Guzman, who won state championship honors for the second year. So congratulations to those two. Few events that are happening that are worthwhile mentioning. Tomorrow, the PTO is sponsoring the Clocker Classic, which is a wonderful event allowing our staff members to play in a basketball game. The kids always enjoy watching them play. That begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Ashland High School, and it's asked for a $5 donation upon entrance. The Ashland High School Theater Society is putting on their show this weekend of Anything Goes. Tickets are on sale. General admission is $11.99. You can purchase tickets at ahsts.com up to 1 hour before showtime, and tickets can be purchased at the door for $15. The show is Friday, February 28th, and Saturday, March 1st at 7 p.m., and Sunday, March 2nd at 2 p.m. at Ashland High School. And the AEFI, Ashland Education Foundation, who just does a great amount of work for our school system in terms of providing our teachers with opportunities to apply for grants to support the work that they do. is having their annual casino night, and that is on March 8th, Saturday, March 8th, at the Warren Conference Center from 7 to 10:30, and tickets can be purchased for $75. So I want to shout out those events because they're all really important to our school community.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions on all that? All right, next item on the agenda is superintendent's contract. So just for a little context, mostly for the public, we had started having conversations with our superintendent a few months ago about an extension of his current employment agreement. We had previously authorized Lori as the chair to sort of have the initial conversations with Jim. She did that, and of course, Lori's been out of town for a little bit. So, the rest of the committee met before our last meeting, made some final tweaks to an agreement, and then at Blessed sort of gave me the authority to speak with Jim afterwards, which I did. We reviewed the changes and the sort of final language. I then emailed it to Jim with the changes in it, gave him the opportunity to look at it. He subsequently informed us that he's good with that. He did make some sort of grammatical changes, but nothing of any substance from the last draft that you all saw. I did go through all that and made sure that there wasn't anything that changed anything in substance. So with that, the agreement, which really doesn't become effective until July 1st, just for the public's information, would be a 6-year contract. I think reflects this committee's support for Mr. Adams, who's now been in this seat for 11 years. I think we've all expressed through our evaluations in the past our strong support for the work he does and the team he leads and the things the district has accomplished. So we're really at a point of, unless there's further discussion, we're just looking to approve the final version of that contract, which I know Jim circulated for everybody to look at in advance a couple days ago. But that's just sort of for the community benefit, the background on it. Anybody want to add anything to that before we take up the issue? Okay.
Is the motion for us to approve it and to authorize Lori to sign? Would it be? She's the only one that signs it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good point. I really thought about the second part of that. But yeah, I think we're looking for a motion to approve the contract as presented and to authorize the chair, Lori, to sign on behalf of the committee.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll do a roll call vote because Lori is remote. Marcy?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Paul?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
And aye for me. So it's unanimous, 5-0. Congratulations, and I'll take the opportunity, and I'm sure everybody will chime in with their own 2 words, just to say, continued thank you for all the work that you do for this district. It's been a pleasure to work with you and continues to be, and I just am, for myself, I probably suspect for all, I'm really grateful to have a partner and a leader in our district that keeps us all student-centered and keeps trying to move us forward every single day of the year. If anybody else wants to.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I agree with everything you've said. Jim, I appreciate you so much, and I've been here since you have. And you've been a wonderful leader, and Ashland is lucky to have you. Thanks for all you do.
I would just echo all of that and say how much we appreciate your dedication and loyalty to the district. And I'm thrilled to know that we're going to be able to have you on board for the next several years to continue the work you've done here. We appreciate you. You're stuck with us, Jim. Stuck with us now.
Well, not until he signs.
Might be the other way around. Thank you. It's humbling for sure, and for y'all to put your trust in me and my team, and it's really is a team. It's not me. I can't thank you enough, and to potentially really round out my career in education here is something special. Thank you.
Okay, and you can work out a time with Lori to do the signing ceremony.
When she gets back after bathing in the sun.
All right, next item on the agenda is the FY25 budget update and adjustments. I think there was a slide that was
Yeah, I'm going to bring it up as well.
And we'll look to you and Chris, I guess, to walk us through this issue.
Yeah, I'll turn it over to Chris here in a second. I just want to give the context of what we do and how we've done this for the last couple of years. So we're in, beginning of March coming up on Saturday. So, throughout the year, we have an operating budget that's approved at town meeting. but also we have a number of expenses offsets, if you will, that we utilize revolving accounts for to help pay for some of the expenses, salaries, supplies, et cetera, throughout the year. And as we get closer and closer to the end of the current fiscal year that we're in, we start looking at balances and to determine, okay, are these balances, what are the discrepancies, positive and negatively, right? And how do they fall within the overall budget approved at town meeting? And then if we've got some favorable variances, and Chris can speak to these in a moment, if we've got some favorable variances, how do we then look at those variances that are part of the operating budget and move some of the one-time fund expenses that we had, counted on using, like revolving accounts? So it could be salaries, could be supplies, it could be other things. Can we then shift those into our operating budget, thus preserving the revolving accounts for future use? And that's what we're proposing tonight. There's some significant funds that we feel comfortable, and I will say Chris and I are going through this on a weekly basis. For him, it's a daily basis, like literally tying the numbers out. And we're both pretty conservative individuals when it comes to our budget and making sure that if we're going to move some of the expenses from the school choice lines, which you don't have all the school choice lines. If you want to go back and ask for those specific details, we certainly can, but it's probably 100 different line items that it could impact. We could certainly do that. When we provide the budget book, if you go back and look at the back of the budget book, we have a number of school choice line items there already. So I will transition it to Chris here, but that's what we're asking to do tonight, is to be able to authorize us to make some adjusting entries to our current budget.
And you might, I'm assuming, get to it, but just, you have a school choice number now, but understanding what the forecast was to use.
So, and that's what Chris I did ask him to make sure he says exactly what we had, set aside for school choice this year. So, Chris, do you want to take this over, or do you want me to handle it? Your call.
And
Okay.
sorry, we'll get to that part once
Yep,
we talk
no,
about what
that's
we're
fine.
asking to
Yeah.
use. So you'll see the financials.
It's hard to
You
read.
have them in front of you too, I think,
Yeah.
in your packet, so I'll just speak to what I see on my screen, which is similar to this, but just to give a quick overview, you get the original appropriation, which is the approved budget. We have transfers. The dollar in that transfer is essentially POs, committed funds that roll over from one year to the next. So it's money that was already committed in fiscal '24. We roll it over because it's a committed expense, and it's, we pay it. But so it's not an addition to our budget, just to be clear. It's more of an accounting mechanism. So the year-to-date expended versus is self-explanatory, I think. That's what we've already spent. Encumbrance, those are already committed expenditures that we have on our ledger. So they're either salary dollars or they're purchase orders that we've placed with various businesses.
And Chris, that encumbrance, just looking at like the first line of 534,377, that's an encumbrance against the original appropriation of 1.457, not against the revised budget figure. Is that
Correct.
Is that right? So like where we're showing in here transfers and adjustments, which bumps the revised budget up. The encumbrance is not against the 1.6 figure, it's really against the original.
It would be against what the encumbrance says, it's 889,000 plus 534,000 gives you a total dollar amount, and then the variance would be to the 1.6.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. One six, okay. Okay, that helps. Thanks, Marcy.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
92,000.
Yeah, and Mark, just, yeah, that, perfectly.
Yeah, thanks, Marcy. Do you have an accounting background?
Do you explain these types of things all
I
day?
don't do this on a daily.
She speaks numbers. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
That's fine. So, and then anticipated, we don't have a book yet, meaning we don't have a purchase order yet out on it, but I just know it's going to happen, so I anticipated on the ledger. So, or I anticipated on this report. And then we have an available budget, of which I thought there were 7 categories that would be beneficial for us to talk about, so you can understand where the variance is that we would like to essentially transfer. In summary, and I'll get into those details, but in summary, as it stands today, we're looking at a $1.2 million favorable variance to budget, knowing that we still have several months of school left. So there are 7 items that make up that $1.2 million variance, of which I'll just go through them. 92,000 salary administrative. There is essentially 1.5 positions that we haven't filled within the administrative area. The salary instructional, the majority of that is, it's 444,000. The majority of that is retirement savings, so hiring, teachers, throughout this fiscal year. And we also had an unfilled grade 2 teacher this year. Special ed salaries, a favorable $500,000 variance. The majority of that is unfilled ESPs. And then we have one position that's been open a half a year. There is maintenance contracts, 86,000 unfavorable. The majority of that is fire alarms that we continue to have expenditure over budget. We're dealing with those on literally a day-to-day basis, just with, having an electrician help.
Is it at the high school?
Correct, yep, and which we do have capital funds identified, which will be fixing the situation over the summer.
But there's still an ongoing cost on a daily basis, if you will.
Yes,
To
we need
maintain, to
pay
ensure
somebody
we
to
can
come
have
in
school.
to
Right.
So,
shut off the alarms and things
Right.
of that nature.
Do you expect that, is the negative 86, like the available budget, do you expect that amount to go up by the end of the school year, or is that through the end of the?
What I did was, instead of,
Encumbered it.
it was anticipated for a while, and I moved over to encumbered, so we put the
Okay.
PO out there, so it's
That's what we anticipate at
that's
the end
that
of the year.
81K to the
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
A good portion of that 81K is getting us through the rest of the year.
Okay. I just didn't know if that number would get bigger.
No,
I don't
yeah.
foresee that getting larger. Well,
Good question.
not for the fire alarms.
I was gonna say,
Right, not, right,
We'll-
correct.
Not for this,
Yeah.
unless, if
Correct.
something
We'll have
else comes
day-to-day
up, who knows,
operations.
right,
I was
right.
just gonna say, knock on wood before,
Yeah, right,
the thing tips over on you, because you're.
Correct, yeah.
Pupil transportation, this is related to homelessness. In prior years, we'd seen increased expenditures, and we budgeted for them accordingly. This year, we're seeing less of those expenses. Out of district, we do have some savings for out of district placements. It's variable and based on individual needs. This number can change and does change, often on a weekly or every other week basis.
You'll see a report on Saturday that I've put together that changes on a monthly basis that we,
And
impressive.
the last one is labeled SPED Other, and that's directly related to special education increased transportation costs.
Have we incurred additional costs because of the lack of ESPs, paraprofessionals, all those vacancies that you talked about before? Have we had to incur like contracted services to support kids because we didn't have staff or now?
We did not this year.
We did in previous years.
Correct, yeah, we did last year, we did not this
Yeah,
year.
no, I understand that.
Yep. Yeah, so as, in terms of, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but in the FY '26 budget, we will be removing some of those additional ESPs that are currently within the budget that we didn't fill, as we didn't fill, now we don't feel we need those positions. So, yep. It was a good way for us to look at it too.
So with this favorable variance, the request right now is we have $629,000 within school choice that are, it's they're essentially the salary dollars that we have in school choice that we would like to move into the school fund so we can use, we'll free up the available balance in school choice so we can focus on that in our fiscal 26 planning, fiscal 26 budget development. It'll be available at that time. And we're comfortable that we can do that now.
So we're looking now to use 630,000 of school choice. What was the original?
It was 1.2.
1.2.
So
So we're reducing our dependency on school choice by about 600,000.
That's correct, 629.
And again, if you look at the chart that Chris is displayed here, there's still this remaining variable balance, right, of 600,000. We don't feel comfortable going any further below this number right now because we don't know what will happen. Even though we've accounted for and anticipated some even out-of-district costs, we have a feeling there will be some additional costs that are coming through. And as we get closer to that June timeframe, May timeframe, this number may have a variance again, a favorable variance for us, where we could then, reapply some of the, say, transportation or school choice revolving accounts that we're using in FY25, again, to be able to roll forward to FY26. It's as I will comment on Saturday, it's a delicate way to balance your books on a yearly basis. There's no way around it. We rely on our one-time funds to cover salaries, and that is a dangerous game to play on a long-term basis. Now, we've been fortunate that we've been able to have significant increases in our operating budget. The town has been really gracious and good to us, and we've seen increases in Chapter 70 and state funding, but that is now drying up, and so we've got to be really thoughtful, down the road. I mean, if you notice in reading the paper, Natick, $7 million override coming up. There will be other communities that have been looking at it and going forward after the federal dollars and the state dollars are starting to dry up. So this is just where we are right now. This certainly is positive news, not only in the FY25, but as you've been through the budget process with me for FY26, it's a big, it could be a big step in helping us reduce the deficit we currently are looking at.
Anybody have any other questions for Jim or Chris?
I just have one question. It's more probably for history, but if we move this now, is there anything to preclude it if a one-time event came up and you needed the funds? Can you move it back?
We can move it back.
Okay.
Yep. Good question. But yeah, we have the flexibility to do that.
And we do have funding still available in that account.
Yep.
Anticipated by balance.
Yep.
So to do this, are you looking for us to?
Just to approve to approve the 629 that number was of school choice funding to be adjusted to the general operating fund.
So the motion would be to approve the transfer of $629,057 from the school choice account to the general operating.
Correct. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for the vote. Marcy?
Yes.
Actually, Lori's not on
She's
anymore.
not anymore. No.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0.
Yep.
Okay, thank you both. Next item on the agenda is the school year 25-26, that's next year.
Correct.
Proposed calendar update, moving the scheduled early release day from May
Is this just 'cause
15th.
the prom?
Yeah, the prom, and this is just we do this quite often. We bring this back. We always, when we set the calendar, we don't always have the prom date. So Ms. St. Kerr,
A lot of people don't have the prom dates.
I didn't have one either. I'm just saying.
I didn't say I did.
But May 15th, we had put on the calendar. They cannot have the date, the prom on that day. They found a facility for May 8th. So it's just really shifting in a week for our early release day, just so we can get squared away. That's all it is.
Any need for discussion on the point? Is there a motion?
I move to approve the proposed calendar update for the 2025 and 2026 school year as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Ms. St. Clair thanks you.
All right, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Was there anybody who had any specific discussion on any of the consent agenda items? Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
I'm not asking for opposition because, I got 4 ayes. All right, and reports of school committee members. Abhishek, you want to start?
So not much really differing from the last time we met. It's been a calm few weeks. We had a nice break. We're appreciative of that. But now it's back to work and back to the grind. Pretty much it for me.
Sound like an adult.
Back to the grind.
Marcy?
Grind, oh my goodness. I went to the middle school site council. We met again. So a few updates from there. They had their first whole school assembly since COVID, which I guess went swimmingly. And Erin wants to have one every quarter maybe going forward. But she said they did great, a lot of enthusiasm there. They had a toy drive and collected over 1,200 toys. And we got 1 week's notice as parents, so that's like particularly impressive.
Yeah.
New toys went to public safety building for Toys for Tots, and then other toys got distributed through the community. Their student council has been pretty active. Spirit Day every Friday, which I knew nothing about, so I got to get on that with my sixth grader. Eighth grade class recommendations are going out soon for the high school, and they're having an assembly next week with parents and students about that. Had 40 students apply into Keep Tech, so a lot of discussion about interest in that and prepping families about, all the things you need to do to think about if you want to apply into Keep Tech or other private schools. We had a really good discussion about like setting expectations and work progression for grade levels, homework expectations, what the grades mean, weighting, a lot of discussion about that. And then that evolved from the class schedule discussion because the changes that are being made there and what the expectations of students are, and just explaining that to them. And then I think for the next meeting, we're going to go through the school improvement plan, and Erin wants to add a new item to each area and look at what's continuing that's already been achieved and going to be continuing some more in like a maintenance mode and what can be added. But sounds like she wants to have discussion about just like expectations on grades and what that means, and from a parent perspective too, in terms of like just because you got a 95 in a class does not mean you should then be put in an accelerated whatever. There's more to it than that, which was really helpful as a parent to hear all of that. Is a child like ready for the next level, at the level, just a lot of discussion about that. So that was good. It also sounds like there's going to be some discussion about if a student is put on an ISSP or an improvement plan, how that gets communicated to parents and what it looks like going forward, because there were letters that went out to parents that take a lot of time, but maybe the message wasn't delivered in a way they thought was most effective. So she wants to explore that. So there's just a lot of good discussion, and I'll just say it again, like Erin is I just think doing a wonderful job. So
Thank you.
thoughtful.
Thank you, Marcy. Tina?
I don't have any updates since our last meeting.
Mr. Kendall?
Not too much. We had a very quick building committee meeting last night. Update on our tax rebate. So our tax advisor has been in communication with the IRS trying to get a status on that. So still hopeful that will move through the system and get to us, but no timeline on that yet. So that's all I have.
When does the school building committee kind of officially complete its work?
Well, we don't even have grass yet, so, and there's several things, but the closeout is typically about 2 years after construction. So there'll be maintenance and different things with until the MSBA process and everything wraps up, we'll still need to exist. Although, at some point, it might make more sense to ask the select board or ask the members to, we don't need to be I don't need 8 members to get a quorum to do, like, last night, we only met because we needed to pay an invoice. So it's a lot, to get 8 people minimum to be able to hold the meeting. So at some point, it might make sense to get there. We still have some things that are outstanding that we definitely want the whole committee for, but, so I would expect paring down over the next year and then probably just maintenance for another year after that.
All right, and I don't have anything for tonight either. So unless anybody else has anything else, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We are adjourned, 6:43 PM. Good night, everybody.